There is other inside your mind. Nobody knows exactly what it is. You cannot find it by looking in the mirror. You cannot open it with a key. A doctor cannot point to it and say, there it is. And yet every night when you close your eyes and begin to dream, something extraordinary happens behind that invisible door. Your mind keeps working. It remembers, it sorts, it connects, it predicts, it imagines, it learns, and sometimes without you even noticing, it changes the way you see the world. It is the strange kingdom of the subconscious, and perhaps that strangest thing about it is this: you have been living there your entire life without knowing all of its secrets. Once upon a time, there was a child who wanted to touch the moon. Everyone told him it was impossible. You cannot touch the moon, they said. It is too far away, so the child built a ladder. The ladder was made of wooden boxes, books, chairs, blankets, and one very suspicious looking toward the pillows. He climbed and climbed. Eventually, he fell into the laundry basket. The moon remained exactly where it was, but something interesting had happened. The child has discovered that wanting something could make him do things he would never have done otherwise. He learned to build, he learned about balance, he learned that chairs were not good building materials, he learned that gravity was surprisingly stubborn. And most importantly, he learned that a dream could make him curious. Years later, he might become an engineer or an architect or an astronomer or simply someone who never stopped asking strange questions. He never touched the moon, but the moon changed him anyway. And this is where manifestation becomes much more interesting. Maybe a dream does not always bring the thing you imagined. Maybe sometimes the dream changes the person who is doing the imagining. The brain is not simply a camera recording the world, it is constantly trying to predict what will happen next. It uses memories, previous experiences, sensory information, and expectation to help you understand what is happening around you. This is useful, very useful. Imagine walking into a dark room, you cannot see everything clearly. Your brain immediately begins making guesses. Where is the chair? Where is the wall? What made the sound? Is it safe to take another step? Your brain is constantly asking what happens next, and this is one reason expectations can be so powerful. If you expect something to be dangerous, your brain may become more alert to signs of danger. If you expect something to be interesting, you may notice details that someone else ignores. If you believe you are capable of learning something, you may be more willing to attempt it, persist when it becomes difficult, and search for ways to improve. The expectation itself does not magically create reality, but it can change the way you move through reality, and that can change what happens next. Imagine that the entire world is shooting at once. Imagine that the entire world is shooting at you. Every bird, every face, every sound, every color, every conversation, every movement, every smell, every tiny detail. Your brain would be overwhelmed. So it creates filters. It decides what deserves your attention. This is why two people can walk down the same street and remember completely different things. One noticed the flowers, another noticed the buildings, another noticed the music coming from a coffee, another noticed a dog wearing a tiny yellow coat. The street did not change their attention there. This is one of the hidden powers behind manifestation. When you repeatedly think about something that matters to you, your brain may become more sensitive to information related to it. A person who decides they want to become a photographer suddenly notices beautiful light everywhere. Someone interested in astronomy begins looking up at the night sky. Someone hoping to start a business begins noticing problems that people need solved. Someone trying to become healthier starts paying more attention to their habits. It can feel like the universe is sending signs. Sometimes the more ordinary explanation is even more fascinating. Your brain has started looking differently. The treasure was already there. You simply learned where to look. The subconscious does not speak in sentences. The subconscious mind is something imagined as a mysterious creator whispering instructions inside your head, but the reality is more interesting. Much of the brain's processing happens without conscious awareness. You do not consciously calculate every muscle movement when you walk. You do not consciously analyze every tiny detail when you recognize a familiar face. You do not have to give yourself a speech every time you catch a ball. Your brain has learned patterns, and learning patterns is one of the things your brain does extraordinarily well. This is why repetition matters. Do something once and it may be an experience. Do it repeatedly and it can become familiar. Repeat it enough and parts of it may become automatic. That is why habits can feel almost invisible. You wake up, you reach for your phone, you check something, you brush your teeth, you get dressed, you follow familiar routines. Your brain is saving energy by saying, I know this one. This is wonderful when the habit helps you. But what happens when the habit is a thought? What happens when thought is, I'm not good enough, people will laugh at me, I always fail, there is no point trying? If those thoughts become repeated patterns, they can influence behavior. You might avoid opportunities, you might stop practicing, you might give up earlier. And then something strange happens. The belief seems to become true. Not because the universe obeyed the thought, but because the thought influenced the choices influenced the behavior, and the behavior influenced the outcome. That is very different kind of magic, and it's still real. There is one spell that human beings cast over themselves all the time. It has only 3 words. This is who I am. Sometimes it sounds harmless. I am bad at math, I am shy, I am not creative, I am terrible at sports, I am not brave. But the brain is a learning system. You are not born knowing every skill you will ever have. You learn, you change, you adapt, you grow, you forget, you relearn. You become different. Think about yourself 5 years ago. You are not exactly that person anymore. Now imagine yourself 5 years from today. There are things you will know then that you cannot possibly know today. There will be people you have not met, skills you have not learned, places you have not visited, problems you have not solved, questions you have not yet thought to ask. So perhaps this is who I am is one of the most dangerous sentences we can believe. A better sentence might be, this is who I am right now. Those last 2 words are tiny, but they leave the door unlocked. Science has discovered another fascinating clue about the relationship between expectation and experience. It is called the placebo effect. In certain circumstances, people's expectations about a treatment can influence how they experience symptoms or outcomes, even when the treatment itself does not contain an active therapeutic ingredient. The placebo effect does not mean that imagination can cure everything. It does not mean illness is all in your head. And it certainly does not mean people can simply think themselves healthy. The human body is far too complicated for that, but placebo research has shown something remarkable. Expectations can influence real experiences in the body and brain. The mind and the body are not two completely separate kingdoms. They are constantly communicating. Your thoughts can affect your emotions can influence your body sends information back to your brain, and the conversation continues. It is less like a king giving orders to a servant, and more like two musicians playing together. One changes the rhythm, the other responds. Imagine you have a dream, you want to become a scientist. At first it seems ridiculous. You do not know enough, you are not confident, you make mistakes, you fail a test. Someone tells you it is too difficult, but the dream stays, not because you are certain you will succeed. It stays because something inside you whispers, what if I try? So you study, you ask questions, you practice, you find someone who knows more than you fail again, you learn, you try again. Eventually, your dream has done something extraordinary. It has turned into behavior, and behavior is where dreams become visible. This is why I think manifestation becomes more powerful when we stop imagining it as wish plus universe equal result. A more useful equation might be dream plus attention plus action plus persistence equal possibility. Possibility is not certainty, but possibility is where every achievement begins. Your future self is a stranger. Here is something wonderfully strange. The person you will become tomorrow is someone you have never met. Neither have you met the person you will become next year or 10 years from now. That person is still being built. Every book you read, every skill you practice, every friendship, every mistake, every brave decision, every time you choose to try again, all of these can become part of the construction. You are not simply walking toward the future. Your future. In a way, you are building the person who will arrive there. And that means your future self needs something from you, not perfection, just cooperation. Your future self needs you to begin. The strange power of small things. We often imagine transformation as something enormous, a lightning bolt, miracle, a dramatic moment when everything suddenly changes. But biology rarely works that way. A tree grows quietly, a brain learns gradually. Muscles strengthen through repeated effort. A language becomes familiar through exposure and practice. A habit develops through repetition. Your life can change in tiny increments that are almost impossible to notice while they are happening. Read one page, work for 10 minutes, practice one new skill, write one paragraph, ask one question. Try one more time. Tiny actions can seem meaningless when you look at them individually, but repetition is powerful. A single drop of water does not carve a canyon, thousands of drops can. Not because one drop is magical, because small things become powerful when they continue. So what is manifestation? Perhaps manifestation is not a supernatural vending machine where you insert a wish and receive a result. Perhaps it is better understood as a practice of bringing your attention, beliefs, imagination, and actions into alignment with something you care about. You imagine a possibility, the possibility becomes meaningful because it matters to you. You begin noticing things connected to it. You begin making different choices. You practice, you adapt, you become more persistent, you learn, and slowly the world you experience can begin to look different. Not because you commanded the reality to obey you, but because you enter reality differently. And sometimes that is enough to open a door you could not see before. The door, remember, the visible door we talked about at the beginning, maybe it is not a door leading to another universe, maybe it is the doorway between what you believe is possible and what you are willing to attempt. Every time you say, I can learn, you touch the handle. Every time you try after failing, maybe I can try differently. The door opens a little. Every time you ask for help instead of pretending you know everything, I don't know this yet, another inch. Every time you choose curiosity over fear, another inch. And one day you may look back and realize you have walked through. You are doing things that the old version of you thought were impossible, not because you discovered a secret spell, but because you discovered something much more powerful. Your mind was never finished, neither were you. The final secret, if there is one thing I would want every child and every adult to understand, it would be this. You do not have to believe that everything you want will magically happen. You only need to believe that the future contains possibilities you cannot see yet. That is enough. You can dream without pretending. You can hope without having guarantees. You can imagine without confusing imagination with reality. You can believe in yourself while still asking for help. You can be afraid and still move forward. You can fail and still continue. You can change your mind. You can change your habits. You can learn. You can grow. And you can become someone your present self has not yet imagined. So tonight, before you sleep, imagine that secret door again. Don't ask it to give you everything you want. Ask it something more interesting. What could I become? Then listen. Maybe there will be no voice. Maybe there will be no glowing light. Maybe nothing dramatic will happen at all. But tomorrow morning, perhaps you will notice something you did not notice before. A possibility, a book, a person, an idea, a chance, a tiny step. And when you see it, remember the universe did not necessarily move the treasure closer. Your eyes simply learn where to look. And sometimes that is the most beautiful magic a mind can perform.